Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics tong. I really started yelling there. Yo, it is Guido. Here I am. It is I, and we are in our Cheeto. Another Cheeto replay. I have some more. Been a bit of a theme of bad teams and going to the important spots on my channel lately. So we're going to continue in that theme with this particular one. And man, there's been a lot of COVID hermits out there, haven't there? Just a lot of people playing TDs, a lot of people playing from the back of the map. And we're going to talk once again why it's important to go to the critical terrain. I believe the critical terrain on this map, which happens to be cliff, is right here in the middle. This area right here is critical, as is the hill to some extent. This map truly requires the entire map to be played. It's very interesting. However, what unfortunately happens a lot is too many people camp on the 1-2 line. It does need to be watched. You don't want to lose it. From the south spawn, you should win this circle right here. Now we have a Crommy B that pushed in, but you're going to watch what happens to him here in a moment. And I'm going to head to the middle. You also need somebody over on the east side over there watching the, she's coming around the mountain when she comes. You don't want the enemy team to come screaming around. Let me see if I can get the cursor going here. Coming around this corner quickly and starting to shoot you in the back. So, I mean, we have a decent spread, but we got a lot of TDs, so guys are going to show up in the on the red line. So I find the Cavalier. He's doing something very silly, and it looks like I'm going to have my way with this guy. And then he gets a shot, and then bam, I get hit by the artillery. So now a little shot, and then I miss, and then holy cow, now we got a Cromwell B on my case. Thank goodness he missed that shot. I snap one on the move, and I don't have any options, right? I have zero options. I got the Cavalier there, I have the Cromwell there, and there are 3 artillery in this game. I'm running for the cover that I can get. We'll just go up there. Thank goodness he died to the M4A1. And now I'm just trying to get up behind here. There's an artillery shot in there, and that is not the last artillery shot. So already twice I've been poked at. There's a third one. Cromwell B dies. And we can take a breath, right? Usually it's not that exciting on the back side or the southern side of this hill unless you lose this area here, which we did. And that, remember I talked about the Cromwell that was there. He died, and they actually counter pushed in there, and now we're in a bit of trouble. So we got campers here, camper here, semi-camper. All right, Dicker Max, I'll give you that. You're up where your gun can do something. The Stug, yeah, okay. He can cover the middle, but there's really nobody there, so it's not a bad spot. These two, I really don't support a lot of guys sitting here, but turns out they're not in a bad position based on the map control that the enemy team has. So we're going to hang out here, watch this, another shot comes in, boom. There's the, what, 3rd, 4th, 5th already shot at me. So we'll swing back around. The Cheeto has a pretty good little gun, nice and accurate. I've got 1100 spotting, 337 damage. It has decent mobility, as we've talked about in the past. So we're going to come up here and try to use these bushes. Now, this can be a dangerous poke, because if there's somebody here with good spotting, they can get some burn through and see you. Or if there's somebody just hanging out on the backside over here, you can often get proxy lit. And as soon as you come around that corner, they have a TD sniper nest right up here, which is basically here on the map. So you do have to watch for that. I'm trying to see if there's anybody just sitting out there in the open, but they're not. And I'm thinking to myself, this is very strange. What is going on? Well, the M4A1 is over on the east side, and our 2 Shermans are kind of keeping him busy. It's 2-2, and now we've got a T150 pushing in, and this is what I was talking about, where all of a sudden our guys camping right there with some pretty good guns in the case of the S35C and the Nashorn plus the artillery are going to be in a pretty good position to take that guy down. And this is both fortunate and unfortunate. It's a good deal because our team is able to do some work on those guys based on the situation. It's a bad deal because in the larger scheme of things, it was a bad deployment. But it turns out it's working for us based on what the enemy team is doing. So I'm going to shift over here and see if I can't help these guys, because I feel like there's probably a pretty good push going on over here on the west. And why do I feel that? Well, because there's only one guy, maybe 2 over here. We've seen a couple heavies push in. I know the Stug's there, and there's no one hanging out in the middle. So I bet there's a bunch over here and some campers, and that's pretty much what we've got left. So I'm going to come over here to where our strength is and start trying to help them out. Down goes the Churchill. And man, do I run into a bit of a buzzsaw as I come around this corner. I come in here and I go, all right, what's going on? I find this guy. And I know right away I'm going to take some arty. Can I get a shot? There's 1. There's 2. And I risk it all to get one more shot. And I do. I track him. and I'm able to sneak around the corner, but all of a sudden the Achilles shows up, and that's bad news. So I get one shot in there, miss, he's still coming. I'm going to have to uncover, I get up against something there, I'm stuck, I get hit, that stinks, and now I'm down to one shot. But I'm going to go Artie safe, and he is not. So every time you go around that corner and get spotted when there's 3 Artie in the game, that's kind of one of the common results right there. So some more spotting damage for 1,989. I've got 851 total damage. The Excelsior is still pushing around on the east side. The Dicker Max, the enemy one, is hold down somewhere or behind a building. There's a Stug somewhere out here as well, so we're going to come around and see if we can get a little peek of what might be going on. We'll keep coming around. See, oh, there's the Stug, and this is very bad. Right, he's right there. We'll shoot. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I really hope that the Artie's looking at the Excelsior. Well, that one wasn't, but goodness gracious, I got lucky and he fired short. There's another one. So clearly they were not really looking at the Excelsior. They were worried about me over here. But we've kind of got this dick now. 942 damage, 1,989. I'm going to wait for a very long time. I don't want them to time it. I don't want to still be lit when I start moving forward. And I waited even a little bit longer than maybe one of them being clever and going, well, let me just take a little poke there and hope he's driving around at the time. Down goes the Wolverine, and now it's just clean up on aisle 2. And I'm really hoping I can get some kind of shot on the artillery. And this is pretty funny. Darn the luck. The only real problem with hitting something is that great big tower that's right in the middle. And unfortunately, a couple of them are actually right behind. There goes the Nashorn and the S-35CA pushing in. And I'm thinking, all right, where's that guy? There he is. I'm like, oh, geez, I got to back up. There we go. We'll get a little shot. There's one. And the second one to kill. No. No, it doesn't happen. I'm thinking I might get a shot on this guy if I push over here to the left a bit. And what's funny is I'm going to position him to right behind the bloody tower once again. So up to 10,060. I'm like, oh, geez, of course. It takes a shot. There's a building in the way. No, okay, there we go. This one will be a shot. We'll get this one right. Boop. No, that goes high. I got nothing out of it. 1,063 damage, 1,989 assist. This is kind of where we are with the game, with the COVID Hermit thing going on and a lot of new players coming in. Next time you see a really bad deployment and you're kind of watching the way the players go, check a couple of their service records. You're going to notice a lot of really new players. So they're trying to learn the game as well. Like, for example, the Jackson. Is he AFK or is he just brain dead? Well, I don't know why he's still there. He must just not really be either paying attention. Perhaps he's AFK. Clearly nobody's going to show up back there, and it's been a long time since anybody would show up right there. At least the Nashorn and the S-35CA pushed forward eventually. Excelsior and the Sherman did a pretty good job pushing around that other side. Even the Dicker Max eventually got off of his sniper position back there and started moving forward, and we end up getting a win out of this thing. For my money, be the guy that goes to the critical terrain instead of the guy who's hanging in the back. Casemate TDs, soft ones like a Nashorn and a S-35CA and a Dicker Max. It's hard to do. You don't want to just charge forward to the front. But you can move your guns forward and stay in the game. You know, and there you go. I was going to say something about the artillery and all that, but man, did I not get shot at by a lot of artillery? I got away with a lot of stuff here. It's tier 6. It happens. There were a lot of new players in this game. You have to be a little bit more careful. With that deployment, had it been a tier 10 battle, that would have been a much tougher row to hoe. In fact, I probably would have been pretty dead. Had I taken a tier 10 medium to this position with the way this game went down, with big artillery, right, and a better enemy medium doing this other than a Cromwell with more accuracy, I don't think I survived that position right there. So you do have to be careful. I went over this a little bit on my stream the last few days ago, about Tuesday, I think. Talked a lot about, somebody made a statement about I play the map and not the match too often. And that is a great, I think it was Bonzi. If it was someone else, I apologize. I can't remember which one of you it was, but it was a great comment because that's exactly right. Primarily, you need to go into it planning to play the map. Take a look at the setup. That may be your first decision point on whether to change that, but then pay real close attention to what your team's deployment becomes, because that's your next decision point on whether you're going to play the map or the match. And because the meta, because the teams aren't following the meta as much, and it can get really wacky right now, especially at lower tiers, maybe be a little bit more spring-loaded or lean forward on playing the match and not the map at this point, while we get the COVID hermit thing going on. It's interesting because it's a little more wide open. It's frustrating because you don't have a good idea of where your team's going sometimes. You take the good with the bad. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. We'll see ya.